Thank you so much, Araceli. Welcome, everyone. Today is Saturday, September 25th, 2021. The time now is 1:05 p.m. and I am going to go ahead and call the meeting to order for the Hispanic and Immigrant Affairs Board. The Hispanic and Immigrant Affairs Board advises City Council on barriers that impact the Hispanic and immigrant community in social and economic and vocational pursuits. At this time, Andrea, if you could do roll call. If not, I'll go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I can do roll call.
Perfect, thank you.
So if you're here, if you don't mind coming off mute and saying present, I believe Eleazar Prasada already said he was not able to be here today. And Mukua Kyoko Sophie. Okay. Andrea Martinez, I'm here and present. Febin Smith.
Present.
Great. Ann Robertson.
Present.
Perfect. Rasha Mohammed.
Present.
Present. Virginia Rojas has indicated she would not be able to make our meeting today. Elke Whale Milan. Present. I see you. Michelle also indicated she would not be able to be here today. Jordan Crumroy.
Hey, present.
Perfect. Cynthia Martinez Gonzalez.
Present.
Perfect. Adiel Martinez Ventura.
Present.
And Cotter Zaror.
Present.
Perfect. It seems to me, board chair, that we have enough to meet quorum for our meeting today.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Oh, Araceli.
Yeah, just so we have an extra person in attendance, just as an attendee is a phone number. So I'm not certain who they are.
Yeah, I was going to address that actually. Yeah, go ahead.
You want me to bring them in as a panelist? Are they supposed to be here, or we're not sure?
I don't know.
So if you can hear, if the listener can hear, if you are one of the board members, you can, under the chat, you can send us a message and we'll bring you in because I'm not certain who you are. If you're not, we'll just leave you under the attendee. So it's fine. Thank you.
Thank you for addressing that. I appreciate it. Yes, I did notice. Welcome if you're not a board member or you just came to see or hear what we were up to. So we're going to go ahead and move into approval of the minutes. Not the minutes of today's agenda. Has everyone received the agenda for today, reviewed it? Any questions at this time? Anything that you might want to add? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda, today's agenda.
I would like to make an adjustment based on our discussion earlier today, Elke, that we move the leadership report portion about, what was it? I'm trying to look at it because I'm on my phone, as well as about the bylaws to new business, I believe it is, as opposed to the leadership report, so that we're able to vote as a committee. So that is my motion.
Do I hear a second?
A second.
Okay, motion granted. All those in favor say aye.
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 Great. Motion passes. We can go ahead and move the bylaws down to our voting action item section. Thank you so much, Andrea. Now I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes for today. Not the minutes, I'm sorry, I just mean minutes, agenda, today's agenda. I will entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the agenda.
Okay.
I second that.
Thank you. So Sophie said she was kicked out. I think it was her that was on the call. FYI. She just texted me. Moving forward, we're gonna go ahead and approve minutes for our previous meeting from 7/15/2021. Has everyone had time to review the minutes? Any changes that need to be made? I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Sorry, the minutes. Now I don't know. The minutes from the previous meeting.
I move that we approve the minutes from 7/15/21. Any seconds?
I second.
it.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Great, thank you. We're gonna go ahead and move over to staff liaison report with Anastasia. And I'm sorry, y'all, I'm not feeling very well, so I apologize.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Not a whole lot to report. I think under that section, I did see just addressing the fact that we're still doing our meetings virtual. It had originally moved where everything was getting better COVID-wise, and all meetings had returned back to in-person. And that lasted, I would say, maybe about a month and a half or so. We are back at virtual, all boards and commissions. Until further notice, until council, goes back into in-person and everyone else can go back to in-person. So we're pending that. So as things start progressing, we'll let you know if anything changes in the next couple of months, or hopefully maybe next month everything gets better and we can go back into in-person. But we are definitely, once the in-person comes back, we're looking at facility where you can meet. I know that internally we're working at making the Pathway Center, which is where our office is, making that potentially the best fit facility for everyone. It's close to 40, close to downtown. It has free parking, easy access. So we're looking to that site as being beneficial. But we will be in communications with your leadership just to find the best site that will work for everyone. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you, Anastasia, for the information. We are now moving to our leadership report. As noted before, we are moving the updates by bylaws and law governance committee, or updates regarding that committee towards the end to be voted on. So we will go ahead and move to 5B. It is a reminder of Hispanic Heritage Month, to which a statement was created, a small blurb was created by the communications team. Adiel, are you able to share any of the information?
Yes, I'm sorry. So for the communication committee, we have work. Elke has done an excellent job. We have created the page, the Hispanic and Immigrant Affair Boards. We have the graphic, and then we also have the Facebook page created. I am so sorry I'm not able to share at this moment, but we have that information. Elke, if you can help me just like show that information.
Yeah,
I would really appreciate it.
I'm getting Aracelis. You're being shared in a folder.
Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can go ahead and allow you to do that.
So the Hispanic, the HHM statement is as follows. Hispanic Heritage Month is observed from September 15th to October 15th, and the independence of Mexico, Guatemala, Chile, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Belize. This month we honor all of the contributions of past and present Hispanic, Latino, Latina, Latinx, Latine people and their profound contributions to Raleigh, Wake County, and North Carolina. Our committee honors Hispanics by offering, and it moves into what we will be doing if it's approved by the committee, offering bilingual book readings and other activities. And I know Cindy has access to that at this time.
You should have access now.
Oh, okay.
To share, yes.
Thank you. Okay, that's very short, very short. Let's give it a minute. Anyone have questions?
Could we just move it to say will honor, because it's not a continual like offering, it's just every once in a while, but our committee will honor the Hispanic community through book readings and other activities? Or are you intending to say that that will be like a continual thing?
No, not continuing, just right now. We haven't gotten that far, so.
Okay. And it might be better to say we'll honor Hispanics this month then, just so that it's time limited.
I had a question about the list of countries, because we're honoring Hispanic Heritage Month is not just for the countries that have become independent.
That's correct.
And so I'm afraid it implies that by listing certain countries, like Cuba's independent, we may not like that, but they are. So, you know, may not be the kind of independence we're excited about, but I didn't know what's the reason for listing specific countries.
It's due to the Independence Day. Oh, I'm sorry. Hello?
Oh no, I was just saying I agree with that, because it makes it seem like it's like inclusive to only those countries that we listed.
Okay, so how about we table this and we vote on it, we address it, and we vote on it via email after changes have been made by email up.
And I think it'd be an easy fix to just say the independence of several countries and the cultural celebration of Latin American countries.
I like that much better, Andrea. Yeah. Instead of listing specific countries, because the question is, why did we leave out Cuba? They're independent.
Yeah.
So you would like to say what? I'm sorry?
The independence and culturals of several Latin American countries, So the independence of several countries and cultural celebration of Latin America.
Several countries. And...
Does Spain count?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So,
what about Peru? What about Argentina? I mean,
right. So it's like Spain, Central America, South America, Caribbean.
Right.
We can work.
The only one that I have a question on would be Spain, but I would assume that Caribbean countries, of course, count too. Like, and that's one of those things. This is one of the grand debates about Hispanic Heritage Month and how people refer to themselves culturally, and
right.
It's tan complicado.
Well, Puerto Rico's not independent, so we're leaving them out.
Well, that's why I would say the independence of several countries and Latin American cultures, I would say.
So let's go ahead and table it and further discuss it with through email and make the necessary arrangements.
Sure.
And changes to this. And then once it's agreed to by everyone, we'll go ahead and release it within the next, week. Moving on. Any questions about the statement?
Maybe I need to be educated, okay? Is Hispanic Heritage Month really just for Latin American countries? I don't know.
Generally, yes, because it was predicated upon the, and the reason that it's divided in between 2 months is specifically because of it being the Independence Day of several countries. Like I think it's like 5 countries on September 15th. But there is a lot of controversy about that still.
It does encompass, it depends the angle, but as it relates to the specifics, if you go to the Smithsonian and some of the White House proclamations and different history buckets, it will say different things. But the one specifically, the White House, I believe, and the Smithsonian mentioned 18 to 20 countries. They include Belize and they include Spain. So it depends. So that's why, and it's celebrated here. It's not celebrated in Latin America per se.
It's an American thing.
Yes. Any other further discussion? No, I'll go ahead and close. Anyone else?
We celebrated El Salvador's Independence Day September 15th and had pupusas. So that was my celebration. That's all I want to add to it.
Great.
But those are good questions. Thanks, y'all.
We can build on those questions as well. So we'll go ahead and follow up for the Hispanic Heritage Month statement. I don't know if anyone else had questions or wanted to reiterate or say something about Hispanic Heritage Month. That's what we've discussed. I know that we're going to be talking about an event later on in the agenda regarding a book reading with one of our own Latina authors, local Latina authors. And if there's nothing else regarding Hispanic Heritage Month, I'm going to go ahead and go into our next agenda item. I hear now? Great. So for subcommittees, we have Subcommittee Leadership. And I'm excited. The team has, leadership has decided to suggest that the following subcommittee members help in getting subcommittees and leading subcommittees. For the Communications Committee, Ariel Martinez. For the Community Engagement and Celebration Committee, Cynthia Martinez. I just realized you guys want to say something. For the Economic Development Committee, Qatar Saur. And Social Justice and Public Safety, although she's not here, it would be Michelle Bermeo. Any questions about the committee?
Wait, can you repeat that? You said that, I'm gonna be doing what with the subcommittee?
You're gonna be leading it. But we're gonna talk more about subcommittees in the next section as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Anyone else? No? I hear none? Okay, moving forward. Committee reports. So for the Communications Committee, Ariel kind of just said what we collaborated on. It's just 2 of us. We've been collaborating in the committee. So as he said, we attempted to do the statement, a blurb, We also attempted to do a Facebook page, which we will share shortly, along with a Twitter handle, and then an event graphic. And the event graphic I will show once we reach the book reading portion. Can we have someone from the Community Engagement and Celebration Committee give us a general report? Cynthia, or I know both of you have comments. So Cynthia, if you.
Well, we didn't meet. I was actually hoping to talk to Eliazar about it because we didn't meet this past month. I know that I had seen the emails about us meeting, like the subcommittees meeting or whatever, but I guess I wasn't really sure, I guess, what all was going on in that sense. So I don't know. I mean, besides the last, when we had the conversation regarding what it was that our subcommittee was gonna try and do, we haven't had any further discussions going forward.
Okay, so the subcommittee leaders that were chosen were for that reason. All of us are here to help everyone, not just a specific committee. So we will go ahead and address that offline. But thank you for sharing that information. And once we address a certain aspect of the bylaws, we're gonna have to further discussion about that specific committee. Sophie? And
yes, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so just like you said, we did not get a chance to meet, but I do have a request from the African community for an opportunity for a partnership with the city of Raleigh. And basically they're looking at holding a cultural event, which also celebrates Kenya's independence on the 11th of December. The request is for us to potentially have the mayor grace the event, and also, members of the various committees come in and let the people from the African diaspora know how they can better engage with the people that come to Raleigh from other countries in Africa.
Okay. We'll go ahead and discuss that. Does anyone have questions about what they discussed? No?
Sounds awesome. I'm really
it does. We'll collaborate and help however we can. Moving on to the Economic Development Committee. Any reports?
I know Cotter is now leading the committee, but we have been working on trying to get dates together to meet, because I know we all have demanding schedules, and also trying to arrange interpretation for our specific groups, and that's since that's the needs of ours. So do you have anything you wanted to add, Cotter?
No, I'm just waiting for the dates so we could meet and start planning events.
Exactly. Cotter has had some really great ideas about bringing in business leaders so that our community can learn about that for their purposes, like a pathway. So I'm excited about that.
Right. Once you guys have those dates, if everyone can share dates with leadership for all of the meetings, that would be great. For everyone, because we can all go to other people's meetings, although there's going to be a main core group, and we can just provide assistance in any capacity. The next committee is Social Justice and Public Safety Committee.
Hey, I can give an update. Michelle wasn't able to make this meeting, but we were able to meet a few weeks ago and kind of talk through some of our goals, and thanks to Andrea for also joining that. So where we landed is that we are going to, one of our first kind of efforts as a group is to sponsor a community event centered around COVID and testing and vaccination. We talked about kind of the pros and cons of doing our own thing, and in the end decided to have it be more of a sponsorship, whether that's the word we use or not, so that we're really partnering with a community organization that's already a trusted connector and trusted voice in their community. So it could be that we provide financial support, that we provide volunteer support. It could be that we have a booth about the committee and ways to get involved. It could be that we bring in other partners. For example, we talked about the concern about the moratorium ending and the housing crisis that is and is about to ramp up. So our next steps on that, El Pueblo had an event maybe like 4 days after we talked, and we were going to reconvene after that event so that we could kind of understand what the turnout was and where they're seeing interest, where they're seeing need. And then the other thing that we would like to ask of you all is that we want to better understand other immigrant communities and needs around COVID. So specifically outside of Latino, Hispanic communities, what other communities would have an interest in kind of working on an event together. So it could be, we're going to start with one event by sponsoring, again, not doing our own thing, but like supporting an organization that already has those connections in the community and is planning to do something around health. And then our role will be supporting them in that financially and via in-person support. And then also helping bring in other partners, whether that's getting more city departments there, or bringing in, legal aid or DHSS, like whatever it be, helping connect folks further. So if you are connected to like the December 11th event, maybe that's something we could talk about and see. Maybe that's an overlay. So if you know of organizations that are doing something that you think we could tap into and further amplify their efforts, please let us know. That would be our next step, is to identify which organization or organizations we want to work with and go from there. Andrea, anything I missed?
No, you got it all perfectly. And I just wanted to add that I got an update from my org this week, and they're holding a vaccination health event on November 13th, and they would love board support for that, for us to be included in the planning and process supporting, because there's other orgs that will be there. My org, I think Mexican will also be there. So like I said too, if there's other agencies and groups, especially ones that reach out to, I think specifically we said Middle Eastern and African communities, we would love to have the that support and knowledge to bring that far and wide as much as possible, because we can offer rides and stuff through my organization to get people vaccinated into that event, and there'll be food trucks, so that'll be nice.
Okay, it's November what?
November 13th.
Mr. Guitar, do you think MABAC would be interested, or any of the organizations that you collaborate with? Okay, we might not have time, or maybe we did. Is this our?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question. You were breaking up.
Oh, okay. No, I was just asking, based on what they said, do you think that's something that the organizations that you collaborate with on a regular basis would be possibly interested in?
Oh, I think so. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And actually, some organizations have already started doing their own planning and activities, and I think it would be great to collaborate with them. Okay.
Great. I think maybe expanding into an ad hoc, or inviting the board to some of the meetings that you guys have, Jordan, would be great. So, Sophie, any of us, and any of our friends because I know that there's a triangle stakeholder, huge community that is doing work as well. So yeah, this is awesome, great. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for meeting. Thank you for taking the time to come up with some general ideas. We're moving in the right direction. So we're gonna go ahead and move into new business, a section of new business. This is what our leadership committee thought of to bring in families, you know, to kind of draw individuals in for Hispanic Heritage Month. To start with, it would be a book reading or a cultural presentation or both. The author that we have that was mentioned by Andrea was Carolina Fonseca. She is actually here. So Carolina, if you want to give a brief intro, meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the graphic that we would have to agree on if that's something that we will pursue doing. I give you the floor, Carolina.
Thank you, Elke. Well, first and foremost, thank you for inviting me. It looks like you all have been very busy. So congratulations. I can see that there's going to be a lot of amazing things going on. So I'll give you just kind of an overview of what I do at various schools across the state and something that I think may be a good fit for what it sounds like you all are trying to do. So basically I have two children's books. The first one is Lupita and the Magic of Mexico. And this story basically is about family unity. And it talks a lot about the Mexican culture. So one of the things that I really enjoy about this book, and I think that the kids enjoy, is that they get a chance to essentially peek into the Mexican culture through the eyes of a little girl named Lupita. They follow her on her journey. It's a cute and exciting book, but I think something that they enjoy even more is doing activities after we read the book. I think that's where we've had most of our successes. And one of the things that I enjoy doing is, of course, reading the book and having an activity, but one that the parents and the children can participate in together. Because at the end of the day, even though this book is meant for children, the theme is family unity. And really this book came about because, you know, I was hearing about all of the different things going on at the southern border and how families were being torn apart. So this was a way for me to heal something that had happened within my family and that I saw across other families here that I was connected to. So this is one of the things that we enjoy doing. And I can explain some of the projects that we do with the kids after. Oftentimes we do cute artistic projects. One of the fun things about this book is that in every single page, there's a little butterfly and there's a symbol to the butterfly, and we explain the symbol to the kids. But one of the activities that they do is try to point out the butterfly in every page, and then they can either draw the butterfly or paint it. And of course, we have other kids that prefer to paint other things like the calaveras, the sugar skulls, because we talk about that a little bit within this book as well. So it's a really neat way for kids to learn about the culture, learn about family unity, and then start participating, doing some hands-on work. So this is the first one. And I'll show you the second one. This is the most recent book. And this is Lupita and Her Magical Dreams. And the reason that we decided to create this book was because as I was visiting schools, one of the things that would come up was kids having specific nightmares. One of the scenes in the Lupita and the Magic of Mexico book is about Day of the Dead. They started asking me, is this like Halloween? And then the nightmare conversation began. And that's when kids started sharing some of their nightmares with us, but not understanding what the nightmares were trying to tell them. So this book here begins that conversation, allowing the family to explore what a nightmare can mean for the child, because oftentimes nightmares are a loving alert from the self, letting them know, hey, there's something going on here. So we help them connect it with the issue in waking state. So this one right here, this is a little bit more in depth. This one focuses more on nightmares and brings some light to that. So that way the parents, number one, can understand that nightmares are simply a loving alert from the child. And then number two, it's letting the child know that they can also deal with this and then they can understand themselves better through these nightmares. One of the things that we enjoy most about this is that when we're done with this book, sometimes the kids draw the dream that they want to have, those things that they really want to see in dream state. And we found that this is super creative because it's not only fun for them to paint and to draw, but they get excited to talk about those things that they most want to see. And this book has been very successful with one of the organizations down south. You've probably heard of them. It's the Sidewalk School. They're in Matamoros, Mexico. And basically, It's filled with asylum seekers, specifically children. And they created a small organization there that will teach kids various things that they need to learn about school, but literally on the sidewalk because they have nowhere else to go. So we sent them a copy of these books, and this one really brought a lot of light to them because since they are down there, oftentimes they have had tough experiences and they do struggle with nightmares. So this has helped out with that. And these two books really, the idea behind them is to unite families and to start that conversation of, even if some of our family members are across the border, if we haven't seen them in many years, there's still a way for us to stay united and to stay connected to them. So there's a quick overview. Hopefully that helps, but I'll pause there in case folks have any questions about some of that work that I've done.
Thank you, Carolina. Does anyone have any questions for Carolina regarding the book? The book is in Spanish and English.
Carolina, this is Cynthia. Oh my gosh, I love everything I just heard. My son's actually listening in because we're in the car, and his school participates in a lot of things like this. His school is I forgot the name of the specific. It's not just an IB bachelor's school, but they also do a lot of like outward inclusion of like different cultures and stuff. So I would love to put you in contact with the PTA in the school so that you could go and talk and present your books. It's awesome. And also if you could share a link to how we can buy those, just because I would love to buy that for my child, that would be awesome.
Well, that just makes my day. Thank you, Cynthia. Yeah, that's wonderful. And that's something that I really enjoy is connecting with the kids and seeing, how can I best assist them? Because, for folks that don't know, I was also brought to the U.S. when I was 2 years old. So I went through the whole process of being an immigrant, eventually getting DACA, the whole immigration process. So I'm very familiar with that. And I'm very familiar what fears kids can go through during that time. So that's another reason why we wrote this book. So of course, I'll share the link with you and I'm happy to connect with you further on that. But our passion is really talking to kids and going to the school. So I appreciate that, Cynthia. And something that I think Elke mentioned, I forgot to mention this altogether, but I have an English version of each book and then a Spanish version, but each book has highlights. So we're going to say a couple of phrases in the other language. And that's also fun too, because you'll hear the students pronouncing them and some are spot on, but others are attempting, and it's just wonderful to see them try. So we've noticed that brings some unity within the community and the cultures as well.
I think that's great because it helps show the, I actually have struggled with how to explain to my son, because I also came to the U.S. at 2 years old, how to explain the immigrating and the illegal immigrating process and what that means, because he's seen, just because of the work that I do, he'll ask, "Oh, mommy, what does that mean?" or "What do you mean family separation?" So I think that's a big deal. And my son, who is a son, he's the son of an immigrant. Can you imagine all these other children? They don't understand that. And I think that that's great for community inclusion.
Absolutely, Cynthia. That's a wonderful point. And that's what you'll notice. These books literally, they're fun to talk about and they do unite our community, but they start a bigger conversation. And I think that's key. You hit it spot on with that, Cynthia. Thank you.
Does anyone else have a question? Yeah, Anne, I know. Go ahead.
Well, I had a question because I'm as excited about it as I'm hearing everybody else be. That is distribution. Are you working with DPI, the Department of Public Instruction, about getting these out? How are you getting the books to the children?
Yeah, so I work with local organizations. Those have been my point of contact. And I haven't connected with DPI or anyone else. It has been really word of mouth and social media. And one of the biggest organizations that I owe credit to is that small organization I just talked about, the Sidewalk School. We sent so many books over there, and specifically, I'll give a shout out to this school, Virginia Cross Elementary. One of their teachers invited me over there, and they actually helped get about 100 or so books our first go around to the Sidewalk School. So really, it's word of mouth, it's community effort, social media. But if an opportunity arises for me to connect with someone else, of course, I'll be very open to that.
I think you need to be in touch with DPI, definitely, the Department of Public Instruction. This is the kind of things we need in all our schools. I'm very excited about it. So have you tried to contact DPI people, or would you like a contact?
Well, to be
in touch.
Yeah, to be honest, that would be wonderful. I haven't thought that far ahead. When you start writing your book and you get so passionate, I feel like you just stay here, and really we depend on those external resources and people like you, Anne, and Elke and Andrea and all of you here. So I appreciate that, and I will absolutely take a contact. Absolutely.
Okay, call me.
Okay, Anne, thank you.
I think the only question that I really have is the possibility of being able to get these materials out for a book reading out digitally, because I would love to, of course, have this available to as many families as possible for this event. I imagine it's a hard time right now for people to get together in person because of COVID and everything, but I would love for us to have a way either to hand out printables so that people can participate at home digitally, or have drop-off points, or maybe even make that a part of our marketing to bring that to people. Is that something you conceive as possible?
Yeah, so one of the things that has helped us tremendously is because we are virtual, what we've done is we'll do presentations via Zoom. So you'll see, like, I'll be reading the book, there's a little image of me, but behind me will be the actual screen. We've done it that way. Or then the other option is where it's literally just the book and you hear my voice. And then afterwards, we'll do the activity with the kids. And really, I try to do activities that require very little items, because some of the students that I've worked with are from low-income families. And so we want to make sure that everybody can participate. So we'll say, look, if you've got a piece of paper, you've got a pencil, you're good to go. And we get creative even with that. So we want to make it as accessible for folks as possible. So I'm happy to do it via Zoom. We've had some great results with that. And we can just advertise ahead of time and let them know, hey, as long as you've got these couple of items, you can participate in it. And lastly, this is something that I think has worked out well. Some of the kids get excited about their artwork and they want to send it in and they want it to be displayed somewhere. So if that could be offered, I think that'd be really great for them as well.
Awesome. That sounds so great. So excited to work together.
Thank you. Me too. And Andrea, thank you.
Does anyone have any questions? We would have to vote to have this be part of the event. Given the certain climate with COVID, we would do Zoom to begin with, to be spread across a variety of different channels, media channels, mediums, to promote. The date that we had discussed was October 2nd at 1 p.m. And that's a weekend of a lot of action in the state. There's, because the El Pueblo is having their event on the 3rd. So there's like, and I think there's an event the day before as well on Friday. So just to show you, thank you so much, Catalina. If no one else has any questions, this was one of the ideas that we had come up with. Of course, this is cultural. This brings in families. We want families to engage, to not, to come and listen, but also we're going to be here. We're going to be helping them, following the conversation. We address the parents. We make an ask and ask them what they need, what they want. This is just the first step in getting and attracting our community members and our families, because, that's why we're here. So I'm going to quickly share, and this could be changed, a graphic. That we made in the comms team.
Oh, so cute.
I was gonna say, if anyone can do a better job, go right ahead, it's yours. Araceli, is there a way that the city can provide the Zoom link, or would we need to provide the Zoom link?
I'm certain we can make the arrangements for the Zoom link. The issue, are you having people register to attend, or is that you're just gonna like share the link out within the same flyer where they can just go in and click in?
No, it's not going to be interactive flyer, so we would have to have we have a professional. I'm sure everyone has an account. I didn't know if limitations for limitations reasons, if we're gonna host an event, an online event, that the Zoom link come from you guys or us.
Okay, yeah, I mean, we can definitely do it. If you have one, I'm certain that it is a possibility you can use it. So yeah, we'll work it out on the side. So yeah,
okay,
we'll be there
perfect.
to support you.
So this is an item that we would have to vote on. Do I hear a motion?
Well, may I ask a question? Okay. Yeah, the poster implies something that I don't think is true. I don't think Carolina's trying to do that. Carolina, excuse me. And that is that it's only in Spanish. And the thing I love about it is what she has talked about, how it helps the people who are not, kids who are not Spanish speaking, to understand the Spanish speaking culture, to understand, you know, the experiences of people. So the poster implies it's only for children who speak Spanish. It's only for Spanish speaking families. It's only for people. I think the poster's a little bit misleading based on what Carolina said.
I'm sorry. There's three. There's two. Sorry.
Oh, good.
No, yeah, I did too. We did.
Good.
Too.
Okay.
Sorry.
So there's one in English.
Yes, absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Elkie, if I'm able to get somebody to do an Arabic translation of the poster, would you be down?
Yeah, I can help with that.
Oh, that would be great because that would be awesome.
Okay.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, send it to me. I'll definitely do it.
I mean, if I hear Swahili, then we're really covered. But
we can help translate if we need it in Swahili, definitely.
Awesome. This is amazing. Great. Teamwork makes the dream work. Great. So
and I volunteer to do it in French. I'll do French.
Great.
Okay.
So Swahili, French.
Awesome. And then
I do have a question within that. So if if we do get translation for the flyers, does this give people the understanding that the event will be in those languages specifically? So just not to be misleading, I think it'd be wonderful, but are we going to provide interpretation in all those languages?
I don't think that we will be able economically to provide languages, but if we're marketing, I don't think we're going to market it in, like, saying that it's in French.
Well, but wouldn't that,
I think the benefit would be to target the parents who probably do not speak the language, but assuming that their kids understand English. So if we translate, for instance, in French, then if I'm French speaking, then I know I can get my kids to, to participate. So I think it would be targeting, a lot of, especially parents that don't speak English or Spanish, just to get the message.
Yeah, and I think we could further discuss this as well on having us facilitators create the whole line for people if needed. I don't, at this time, the translation, because Carolina speaks Spanish, so it would be both. But everyone that, Arabic, Swahili, French, there are four languages mentioned. I know that Spanish, Swahili, Arabic, well, all four of them are top languages in the Wake County area. So I think we should market, because that was what we were talking about, market it in those languages, but with the understanding or disclaimer, it will be in English. It's just marketing that we're doing.
I think that's great. Just agreed with the disclaimer that you just mentioned.
Okay. So, any further questions regarding the flyers? We will need everyone's assistance regarding French, Arabic, and Swahili. To help us with the flyer, we will send the information. We have to do two things. we'll have to extend time. I'm going to go ahead and before I do the motion regarding the book, do I hear a motion to extend the meeting by an extra 10 minutes to 2:10? At this time, you'd be the first.
You'd move it.
We'll move it. Then I move for it.
I'll second.
Great, thank you. So we're coming to the understanding that we're gonna go ahead and move forward with having the book read. Let's go ahead and do I hear a motion to approve the book reading for community engagement event happening October 2nd at 1 p.m. To be translated into the marketing to be translated into 4 different languages: Spanish, the poster marketing, Spanish, French, Arabic, and Swahili.
I move that.
Okay.
I will second it.
Great. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Aye, great. Is that unanimous?
We need to make sure that if you are voting, either you come off on camera and or just say your name and say aye afterwards, just to make sure that
should we do a roll vote?
You don't have to, but just make sure for those that are not on camera, they can make sure that they, they voice that it is them.
Okay, so let's try this again. All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
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 Okay. It's
Aye.
Cynthia. Are you saying
Cynthia Martinez says aye.
Okay,
Perfect. That's everyone. I see everyone else on.
Okay, perfect. Yay, great. Thank you. This is great. And just for the record, we're going to go ahead and start thinking as well into Native community and AAPI as well. So lastly, we're going to move over to our, we don't have any old business. We're going to go ahead and move to bylaws. Everybody loves bylaws. Yay. It's quick, guys. No worries. And you have the information. Would you like to discuss part of the conversation at all? Or would you like me to just go ahead and?
I don't have it in front of me, so I'd prefer if you do it, Elke, please.
Perfect. Okay. Bear with me, guys. So for a variety of reasons, as we discussed in the retreat, we were going to have governance committee meet regarding, governance and bylaws committee meet quickly and address certain aspects in the bylaws. Ann and I met and we discussed a variety, I think maybe like 4 or 5 different areas. And I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen. In the event that these are not, they don't coincide with municipal laws, which I thoroughly looked into it, but Araceli, please let us know. You received it earlier today. Let us know your commentary. And it's 3 main items. And I will share them quickly. Okay, so in the review of the bylaws, we're gonna go ahead and it's just 3 parts. Move into Article 3, members. Our work plan last January had noted alternate non-voting members. We would like to incorporate it, given that our board has gone through a fluctuation of members for a variety of different reasons. We are suggesting or incorporating it, hopefully, if allowed, into our work plan, so we don't encounter some of the issues where we don't have quorum and we can't get work done even though we can do special meetings after, which we became aware of after. So the change or the addition to that part would be alternate non-voting members are two individuals who are eligible to become board members when an opening occurs. The alternates will be one professional and one member. Araceli, any comments?
Right. So this is something that's probably not going to be in your bylaws until council. So this has to go to council before it's even placed in your bylaws. So I will take it back just to make sure, but that's my understanding is before it even makes it to your bylaws or council, you know, I think that section of alternate has to go to council. Council has to look into it and approve or whatnot. But I will verify as we move forward with this piece. And whatever, you know, changes and anything that you bring back today, I will take back and have our standing director now look at before we, you know, anything proceeds further. But my understanding for this one is council would have to vote before we even place it in these bylaws.
Right, right. So this
I was going to make a comment.
Plan. Go ahead.
Well, my comment has to do with the fact that if anybody's going to join this board, they have to be approved by the city council. And for us recently, that's been a big problem, not being able to get to quorum. So we thought this would be a way to get people vetted. I guess that's the right word, Araceli's, to have some people vetted before they came on, so that if a opening occurs, that we would be able to get the person on there more quickly. You know, we've had some problems with people leaving, and this has created problems with quorum, and we're not able to have a meeting because we didn't have the quorum. So that was the whole reason for this, so that the alternates could go ahead and be vetted, I guess that's the right word, by council, and then it could move more quickly.
Yeah, sounds excellent. Because once somebody officially leaves, then you can say, hey, we can bring our alternate in. That definitely makes
right. So that was one of the additions. And again, this was noted in the work plan, which was passed in January by the council. So bringing it back, and it's still in the work plan. We voted on that still being in the work plan in August. So it's adding it also to the bylaws and sending it because we've not yet, I'm not sure if we have sent that information to council yet for the work plan, but if not, send it all in tandem, like together in a package. The next one, thank you, Araceli, and anyone else have questions about that? No? Okay. So the next item is section 3. Sorry, I apologize, I'm much too fast. Article 3, members, section 3. And disregard contemporaneously because that's just, I had to change to Google form, to the Google form. So there's structurally, some of the words don't seem correct, but the highlighted in yellow, that's the change. So given again the issue with quorum, we came up with suggesting the maximum, that we have a maximum number of excused absences per calendar year. Our quorum or excused absences is extremely, in my opinion, they're extremely broad. We've had people that have missed over half. And we for a variety of reasons, and that's fine, but at this point, we're gonna set a standard to limit both excused and non-excused absences. Any questions, issues? No? Okay. So this is the later part, or this is the last part, I believe. And this is great. This is a big suggestion. And after bringing it up to our leadership board, leadership board, given that we're still low in numbers. Eliasad was hesitant, and I think they addressed this with you, Aracelis, or it was brought up to you, and separating the community engagement committee and the celebration committee, because individually they would be doing different things in a variety of ways, especially now that there's a community engagement department. So, and the community engagement committee would be, this committee will establish relationships with organizations and residents to formalize a streamlined process on how to engage communities represented in the Raleigh area to find ways to effectively communicate and engage these communities. Then the other committee would be Cultural Celebration Committee, and that would be in an effort to promote and celebrate all residents of Raleigh, and the board and its members will proactively provide guidance, participate in, and host local cultural events.
Yeah, I would agree just at this point with everything getting off the ground right now. It's a good discussion, but a discussion for later, or a consideration for later, I would say.
I know that originally, you know, as you guys were working on your subcommittees, I think, yeah, there was a setting of 4 just because, you know, you're starting off the work. So just making sure that you do have enough staff members, you know, enough members to participate in now 5, just figuring out if that's functional and practical for this board.
Yeah, I still had to show it. It's part of what, yeah. So we can nix that for now. And the last part is quorum. It's the addition would be if open seats exceed a 65-day cycle, quorum is defined as 40% of the full board membership. And Araceli, to be honest, this is one of the main questions that I would have from council, if that is allowed by state statute.
I will definitely take this back. I know that so what I have seen is that half plus 1 is what they go for as well, is the half plus 1. I will take this back. Again, I will have our interim director look at it, and you know, before you guys make any votes, I'll make sure that we have all this cleared out for you.
Okay, and just to clear that up, was that the agreement, or was that if our absences or if an open seat is open for more than 1 meeting, then quorum adjusts to current membership instead of adjusting the definition of quorum?
It would be the definition of quorum. Repeat what you just said.
No, it's just like, instead of saying we're going to change the definition of quorum, moving it to quorum will move to whatever existing membership is on the board. So it's like the same thing, but instead of changing what the meaning of quorum is, adjusting the calculation to existing seats filled.
Right, but that's all depending on the alternates as well. So like, yeah, if one goes, the other one wouldn't necessarily be necessary.
Well, that's why I'm saying I thought that would be the better suggestion, instead of saying quorum is 40%.
So depending on the number of open seats.
We may not need this one if we get the alternates.
That's true.
And once again, this is getting back to the fact that it just takes a while to fill a seat. So if, you know, 2 or 3 people leave the board, it takes a long time to get new people back on because they have to go through the vetting process and approved by the city council. If we get the alternates, there's a possibility we don't need this anyway.
That's true.
We keep being worried about quorum and how long it takes to get new members.
Right.
I need to extend the meeting 5 more minutes. I'm sorry.
We do? Oh.
Yeah, we're almost done. We have the public comment and that's it. Although we don't have it.
I don't think, do we have public comment?
We do not have public comment at this moment.
Okay. So after reviewing the different parts discussed, disregarding the break of, so is the suggestion just to wait for your department at this time?
Yes.
Yeah. So we can't vote on anything right now.
Yes, I mean, I definitely want to make sure that you vote on something that, you know, I need clarification.
So, Elias, I sent this to you. Did you guys not have time or no?
This is the first time I get this is from you this morning or yesterday in the evening. I have not seen this before.
Okay, so we will not be voting on this, but we will be adding it to old business next month. Once they come back and let us know if that's allowed. And we've already voted for the event. So do we have public comment? No.
No public comment.
So I'm sorry, I didn't ask. Does anyone have questions about the bylaws? The different aspects that were discussed that everyone, that myself and Andrea addressed. Any questions? No, I don't know. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting at this time.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Perfect. All those in favor say aye.
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 Is that everyone?
Aye.
Y'all want to say? Okay, perfect. Great. Thank you so much, everyone, today for being here, and for everyone that said that they could help with the translation. I'm going to go ahead and send everything to everyone. One last thing, if we're having meetings, I'm trying to create a calendar for everybody, so we know where everyone's having a meeting, and you know, we can all help each other if necessary. But yeah, I mean, it's meeting's adjourned. So thank you everyone for being here. And
do you adjourn? Do you adjourn, Elkie?
I did adjourn.
You did? Oh, you did. I missed
it.
We
voted. No, all those in favor? Like,
yeah, we did.
No.
Yes.
Sorry, I was trying to take it down.
Y'all are hilarious.